Okay, this is a video that's a little bit more focused on the Upland Racing League's SCC2024 event that's now coming up. I've added an extra section to the app, which is the SCC24 tab down the bottom right hand corner. It allows you to create races only for the tracks that that event will be using, and only for the competition stock car. If you haven't watched any of the previous videos that I've made, you will need to log in to be able to use the app. If you don't log in, the app can't figure out the difference between one person and the next. And so you wouldn't be able to create a race, and you wouldn't be able to say that you'd be interested in joining a race. Part of this is that I intend people to be able to create races in the future, or at least say that they will create races in the future. And I want people to be able to show that they're interested in joining those races. So if person A creates a race, and person B comes along and says, I'd like to join that race, person A will then see, oh, there's one person interested in the race. If person C comes along and he says, I'd like to join that race too, then there are now two people, and so on up to five. After five, I've just said, lots of people are interested. You can withdraw your interest at any point too, but the idea is that the person who created the race, let's say you want to create a race for tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and you have at least 5 people interested in joining that race, then you can go, oh, yippee, I've created a race that a lot of people would like to join. Hopefully you'll be a little bit more excited than that, but you get the idea. So to download the app, you can scan the QR code in the bottom right hand corner. It's fairly easy to install. I have made a video on it. It's in the playlist. It also shows you how to sign in and sign up. I'm not collecting emails. I don't care about that kind of stuff. Okay, so here's the meat and potatoes. I'm guessing that because you're in this competition, or you're entering these races, you already know how Upland's racing works. You know that you should be creating a private game, not a public one. If you create a public one, you're not going to have any control over who enters your race. The idea of this app is that if you post a race in the app, everybody who is interested in racing should have a competition stock car, and they will be the ones joining your race. There is no way to prevent other people from joining it if they are also members of this app, but at least you're trying to narrow it down. It's also a way to show other people that you would like to create races in the future, which is something that Upland's racing app just doesn't do at the moment. In Upland, you can select stock cars as a category, but you cannot select competition or pro or trainer stock cars as a specific category. If you were to race a pro car against your competition car, and you're both equally skilled as drivers, it's likely the pro car will win. Same with the trainer. If you are running a competition car, you should be able to beat a trainer if you both know the track. The whole idea of this is to gain practice of racing on the track, but as the Upland Racing League has said, it is beneficial to the track owners to be able to race for UPX. It not only gives you the chance of winning a little bit of money, but it also gives them a chance to gain a little bit of profit from you racing on their track. And of course, Upland gets a little bit of that too, but from what I've seen, you get about, I think it's about 60%. The first person who comes in first gets about 60% of the race, of the pot. They at least win all of their money back. So, and I think everybody after that wins a little bit too, so it's not that bad. But anyway, so as I've said, I'm hoping that you already know how to race and how to set up races. So first of all, in the app, you're going to, there's only 2 types of races you can create. One's a future race, a race that's coming up in the future, and one's a current race. The 2 tabs will show the races that have been created or that are racing now. We'll just go through it quickly. So let's say you're going to create a future race. I'm going to make one that's going to come up in about 2 minutes. So you'll see what happens when it changes from a future race to a current race. Like I said, I've made it so that only the tracks that the Upland Racing League said we're going to be using are the tracks that are listed. Think they're in order, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to choose Castle Run Speedway as the first one. I'm going to say the entry fee that I'd like to practice with is 5,000 UPX. The date and time, like I said, I'm going to make it like 2 minutes ahead of time. So right now it's 3:50, and I'm going to make it 3:52. So in 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes, it should start. And I'm going to hit the submit button. So now, if you go to the upcoming tab, you'll see that there's a race that's been created that's going to be running at 3:52. The UPX required for the race, the entry fee is 5,000. It's a stock car competition class car. If you click on this, you'll see the details of the race, but we'll go into that more in a minute. The race time's getting closer, so there's about 20 seconds left. As the race creator, you have the choice of entering the private code a little bit early or deleting the race altogether. In a few seconds, we're going to see the race jump from being an upcoming race to a current race. Anytime now. There it goes. Okay, now it shows up as a current race, and it says the race was just created. So the time that it said it was going to happen at is now was just created. This number will count up. At the moment, it's going to count up to 30 minutes. But I recently found out that if you wait 30 minutes, the race actually crashes in Upland, or it did for me. So I'm going to back this off to 15 minutes. I don't know what the time limit is in Upland at the moment. I don't know how long you can wait in the lobby for the second player to join before the race crashes or stops working or doesn't let you enter. It's possible that you could wait there forever, and when the second person enters, then it magically continues working. But for me, just sitting there waiting with no one else entering, I couldn't start the race after 30 minutes. So I'm going to back it off to 15 minutes. Once the race has jumped from an upcoming race to a current race, the race creator has the option of entering the private code, starting the race, or deleting the race. The idea is that once this has jumped into a current race, you would then go into Upland and you would do the normal race creation thing that you would do. So you would choose the track, and I said we were going to run on the, I'll just bring that window back. So we were going to run on the Castle Run Speedway, so I'm going to enter that. And create the race. We're going to make it a private server. All of the races you run through my app should be in a private server. And we're going to say it's a stock car only, even though this really doesn't make any difference, because we're hoping that the people using the app know already that they should only be using a competition stock car. I said we were going to use 5,000 UPX, so that's what I would enter here. Oh, 5,000, not 50,000. And I said we're using the stock car competition class cars. So that's what I'm going to choose. Of course, the Block Explorer doesn't matter at the moment. You can choose whatever you like. And this is just confirming that you actually want to spend UPX. So now it's giving you the private code, which you would copy. And you can either copy it here, or you can copy it once the lobby has been created. And you'll see that in a second. Okay, so you could copy it over here. I'm sure you already know this, but I'm just going over it just in case. The waiting for players symbol over here, you have to wait for the second person to enter the lobby before that starts counting down. Once the second person enters, you've got 5 minutes to start the race, or for the race to start automatically. Like I said, I'm not sure how long you could just sit here before you can press the start button, but for me, 30 minutes was too much. So I'm going to narrow the timer that I'm using down to 15 minutes. What that means is that this counter will only count up to 15 minutes, and then the race will disappear. Once the race disappears, you can't get it back. I have copied the private code, so I'm going to enter that here and submit it. And again, you'll see that the counter resets when I do that. The idea is that you're telling people that you want them to know that you're going to wait for at least 15 minutes before you start the race. If no one shows up, I would suggest that you start the race on your own after 15 minutes. Or whenever you like. But if you are going to start it early, you should come back in here and just delete it. If a second person jumps into the lobby and then the timer starts counting down, it will count down from 5 minutes. So at that time, you should be watching when you create the race, you should be watching the lobby. As soon as the second person jumps into your lobby, you should go back to the app and then press start the race. And then you'll see it starts in 5 minutes. So from that point, you've got 5 minutes before this disappears, which is when your race should start back in Upland. So that, again, is a little bit clunky, and it's manual, but there is no way for me to capture this data from Upland at the moment. I don't have the ability to get this information sent to my app yet. Upland says they're going to make it open source soon, but I don't think that's happened yet. But anyways, for this series, this is how it's better than nothing is the way I look at it. So anyways, back in the app, right now you'll see that the private code is visible here, and the other information is there as well. The track that we're on, the amount of entry fee, and the type of car required. As a person who's just coming into this and not the person who is creating the race, I'm just looking to see, oh, there's a race I'd like to join. I can click on this and then see the information. I'm going to copy the private code because I want to join the race, and I can't as the race owner. Like, I've already made the race in Upland, obviously I can't join my own race, but if I copy the code, I can then go back to Upland and enter it as a second person. And so anyways, that's pretty much how that all works. Okay, so there is another feature that I've added to this, and that's the ability to say that you are interested in racing in the race that's coming up. The idea is that you, let's say person A creates a race, like I said, we're going to use, still use the Castle Run Speedway. We're going to use 5,000 UPX again, and we'll make it Thursday at 6 p.m. that it's going to run. I'm going to submit that. So now we have an upcoming race, no current races. We have an upcoming race for Thursday at 6 p.m. 5,000 UPX on with using a competition stock car. If I come in here, I can send myself an email reminder to remember that I have promised to set up a race on that day, at that time. To me, that's a pretty common sense thing to do. If you create a race, you may forget if it's that far in the future, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to set yourself a reminder on your phone or watch or however you do it. I'm going to jump to a second account that I have, so I'm no longer the race creator. Now I am a race viewer. I don't have the option, I don't have the 3 dots to allow me to delete the race or enter the private code. Now all I can do is look at it. So if I click on the details, I can now say I would like to join this race. I'm seeing, oh, Thursday at 6 p.m. I've got time to race then, and I have a competition stock car. I've got 5,000 UPX. I'm going to join. So I would tell the person that has set up the race that I would like to join. And now it shows that there's one person interested in this race. I can also change my mind and remove that, but for now I'm going to say that I'm interested. Now, just for the fun of it, I'm going to say that I'm another person and I also want to join the race, and I'm a third person and I want to join this race too. So now there's 3 people who are interested in this race. That would make the person who created the race happy because there's a lot of interest in their race. I'm going to go back to being the person who created the track, and you can see that they cannot show interest in their own race because they created it. They should be interested in it. The people who didn't create the race can also send themselves an email reminder to say to remember that they want to join this race. So that's also beneficial. Back to the main screen, you'll see that an upcoming race, 3 people are interested now. So you don't have to jump into the details to see that there's 3 people interested, and you can do it from this screen. Once this, let's say you arrive, let's say it's almost 6 o'clock on Thursday, and you've decided that you want to start a little early. And so what you could do is you won't be creating or you shouldn't create the race in Upland until 6 p.m. Like I said, there's a limited time that you can sit in the lobby. And if you were to start like half an hour early, it's likely that the race will lock up and you would have to create another one. So it's beneficial if you just create the race at 6 o'clock or a little bit after, so that people who want to join can join when you said that you were going to make the race. But let's say it's 5 minutes to 6 and you've been here for 15 minutes and you're saying, okay, I'm tired of waiting, I'm going to make this start. So what you could do, you still need the private code in Upland. So you would go to Upland, grab the private code. I'm going to use the one that we already have. Go back to my app. Oops. And enter the private code. So once I enter the private code, the race will jump from being a future race to being a current race. And you see it's gone from upcoming and now it's in the current. It also just again says it was just created. But now the private code is showing here and the number of people has disappeared. The number of people is still here, but it has jumped out of the original display. Now what I would do is the same thing as before, where when the second person enters the lobby and the race counter starts counting down, I would then start the race. And again, 5 minutes is all you've got. At any time someone who wants to join the race comes along, they can come in here, copy the private code, or they can write it down from the screen. It's the same number either way. And then they would go to Upland, paste the number into join the private server, and away they go. So basically it's very, very simple. It's all done manually. Like I said, there's no connection between my app and Upland's app at the moment, at least. So you're going to have to do a bit of legwork, but the whole idea is to make it possible or make it easy to set up races with other people who have the same vehicles and are in the SCC 2024 events. If you have any questions, let me know. I did make a video on, like I said, on how to sign up and sign in. That shouldn't be hard. If something goes wrong, let me know. There's a about this app and a contact me thing here. You can also have a look at all the vehicles or the tracks that are available. They're in the hamburger menu. So you can have a look at the tracks that you want. I have made maps for some of them. That's a thing that takes a while, so it's I'll just show you one that I made one for Dante's Inferno. So you can see the track map shows all the properties that are available at the time that I made the map. This is not real time, but at least it gives you an idea as to where the track is if you want to buy a property around the track. So anyways, that's pretty much it. It's very, very simple. Obviously, the more people use it, the more it will work. If only one person's using it, then it's not going to work at all. Thanks for watching.